Hello, and thank you for being here today. My name is Laura Wright, and I am a Public Affairs Advisor with the Halifax Regional Municipality, and I will be your moderator for today. This afternoon, we'll hear remarks from Mayor Mike Savage, Kathy O'Toole, Chief Administrative Officer, and Erica Fleck, Director of Emergency Management. Following remarks, we'll open up the floor to questions from media. We also have some reporters who have dialed in, but first we'll take questions from those in the room, and then I'll call on those on the line. I ask that media in the room go up and use the microphone to pose their questions so that everyone can hear. Over to you, Mayor Savage.
Thank you very much, Laura. I want to thank everybody who may be joining us virtually as we find ourselves again responding to a climate emergency in our community. I'm pleased to be joined by Kathy O'Toole, our CAO, and by Erica Fleck, our Director of Emergency Management. And I would also say that we're here at our Emergency Operations Center, where we have all of our departments at HRM represented. We also have the provincial government, the federal government, and agencies like Nova Scotia Power, and the Red Cross, all represented here and working hard to keep people safe. I want to acknowledge that we're in Mi'kma'ki, which is the traditional and the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This part of Mi'kma'ki is known as Jabuktuk, which means the Great Harbor, and we're seeing that today. Hurricane Lee transitioned this morning to a post-tropical storm, the effects of which began to be felt in the early hours in the Halifax region. It remains a large and dangerous storm, and we urge residents to pay attention to local forecasts and warnings as we ride this out, as we hunker down and get through this. While the worst of the rain may be behind us, high winds will continue, with gusts expected within the 90 to 110 kilometer per hour range here in HRM. This is no time to go wave watching or to be out on the roads unnecessarily. A number of roads are currently blocked due to seawater and debris on the roads, as well as washed out culverts, downed trees, and power lines. While we do not yet know the full impact of this storm system, we do know that coastal regions experienced high seas and storm surge at high tide this morning. Stay away from the water's edge for your own safety and for the safety of first responders that might be called to assist. I can't stress that urgently enough. We've seen images of people near the waterfront, and it's unnecessary and it's dangerous. We remain very concerned with storm surge for the next high tide tonight in particular. This morning we took Halifax Transit ferries out of service, at first temporarily and now completely. We've also closed municipal parks, recreation centers, and libraries. Tens of thousands of people across the region are without power. I know that Nova Scotia Power and their crews are working hard to get back online as soon as possible. They are here now, and my thoughts go out to their crews as well, who have to work in very difficult weather. I want to thank Nova Scotia Power for the work that they're doing. The province of Nova Scotia is operating emergency shelters for those experiencing homelessness. So the city, our navigators, our folks involved in homelessness are working with the provincial government, and we are moving people from homeless who are living in encampments and areas like that. We've opened up shelters at the Captain Spry Community Centre in Spryfield, at St. Matt's Church in downtown Halifax, and at Beacon House in Lower Sackville, and we thank all the folks who are working in those areas. Street outreach navigators have visited encampment sites to advise people of sheltering options. Some refuse to move, but we have assisted many to get to safety. I want to thank the volunteers with Halifax Ground Search and Rescue who continue to do wellness checks, to check on the safety of anybody who chooses not to leave an encampment or an outdoor sheltering location. We've seen a strong uptick on residents signing up for the HFX Alert, municipal alert system, encourage people to do that. And we encourage more residents to sign up to get the latest alerts on impacts from the storm. We will continue to provide information on halifax.ca and on our social media channels. I want to just give a quick update on Halifax Water. Most of our plants are operating well. Some are on backup power. And that's obviously something that we will keep an eye on. If one of the things people can do is report what you see. If you see downed trees, if you see washed out roads, please call 311 so we can track that and make sure that our folks are taking care of it. Obviously, if it's a health-related issue, you would call 911. I want to thank everybody who's working to see us through the storm. I want to thank the folks here at the EOC, but everybody who's out in the weather today, because they have to be. They're doing the work to keep others safe, and we will do that, and we will do it together. Thank you all very much. I'm pleased to be joined by Kathy O'Toole and Eric Fleck for questions that people may have.
Thank you very much. Hearing no questions on the floor, we'll move to the phone line. First, we have Nicholas Seguin with CBC.
Hi there. I'm wondering about damage to roads. It's looking like there are 14 or 15 road closures in HRM. So what is the road damage looking like? Or is this trees across the road? Just what are you seeing on the roads?
I'll have Erica Fleck speak to that.
Hi, good afternoon. So just to reiterate the question, it was the road damage that's currently ongoing, and are we showing it? And we do have a map online that is live, as much has been reported and as much as we are tracking right now. I don't have the count on me right now for how many roads that are closed. We do know a lot of main roads, so particular St. Margaret's, Peggy's Cove Road, some in the St. Margaret's area, Shore Road on the Eastern Passage side, Lawrencetown Road, and a few others out that way for main arteries, but then there are a lot of secondary routes closed due to power lines and trees.
Thank you, Erica. Nicola, do you have a follow-up?
Is any structural damage to roads, like with flooding or anything similar to that, or is it mostly just blockages to the roads or power lines on the roads?
Kathy O'Toole.
So the question was, is there structural damage to roads? And we do anticipate there is structural damage to some roads. Of course, we won't know until we're able to get out after the event and do some assessments. We also, still have open work orders from the flooding in the summer, so we know that there's some roads and some areas where there would have been some weakness remaining from the last flood.
I just would add to that, we spent a lot of time talking internally about the damage that happened in recent hurricanes, but also the fires and the floods. But a lot of our infrastructure is weakened by those. It may not have been destroyed at the time, but it makes it much more susceptible to damage this time as well. So it may not take as much to cause damage to roads, road beds, trees, and things like that.
Thank you. Next, we have Kira Morellin with Radio Canada.
Hi, yes, I'm wondering if you have any updates on cell service in HRM. I know in some places with power outages it might be a bit harder. I'm just wondering if, as the municipality, you have an idea of how this is right now.
Hi there. So your question was cell service in HRM. So we do know that there is a bell outage, particularly in the Dartmouth area, and the service providers are working with the province and feeding us information, and we don't have any updates on the restoration time for them as of yet.
Thanks, Erica. Kira, do you have a follow-up?
Yes, I saw yesterday that there would possibly be shelters and gathering centers if people had to evacuate their homes. I'm wondering if anyone had to use them so far today.
So HRM did not open up any shelters preemptively as we've done in the past. We didn't see the need, and we still do not have anybody at this point that is requiring shelters other than those that are experiencing homelessness. But once the storm is passed and we are able to make a full assessment, we'll do that as we get through the storm.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else on the line? Hearing none, we'll open it up to any other follow-up questions. Either Kira or Nicola, do you have a follow-up?
Nope, I'm okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Same for me, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments?
Again, to thank the people who are helping us to get through this. The worst of that storm hasn't hit us yet, so I want people to be aware of that. Be very careful when you're out and about. Please, 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 stay off dangerous areas. It's not a time to go looking for fun on the waterfront. It can be very dangerous. We've seen that in the past. I would also just emphasize the fact that so many things have impacted us in the last number of months and years. I think a lot of things have weakened. The natural infrastructure, trees and roads, the structural infrastructure, and even the human resource infrastructure. A lot of people have been through a lot, so we want to get through this. And the only other thing I would say is this is further evidence of the impact of a changing climate, and I'm proud of the fact that HRM has a very strong climate plan, which takes a lot of these things into account, both from adaptation and mitigation. Please be careful, stay safe out there. If you see anything that needs to be reported, please call it in, and we'll do everything we can to respond to it as quickly as possible. And we thank you for taking the time today, and be safe.
Thank you very much for watching. This concludes today's briefing.